So I got a little project for myself. Down in the garage, I set up a computer that I have, and just a monitor and keyboard and a mouse. And well, it sits on a shelf, and the shelf is only, you know, so wide, and the computer sits on it. It's a little bit wider than the shelf sits. So the front feet of the computer actually just about fall off. So it's a little sketchy. So I said, well, why don't we look for a new case for that? And take all the parts out of that and put it into this case that I found right here. And I think this case is going to work pretty good. However, we have to assemble it. So I figured I'd make a video on it. This case would be great fit if you want a computer in the garage and you are a woodworker. So probably just gave away the what the case is made of. But yeah, case is made of wood. So let's see how hard this is to put together and kind of judge the quality of it and see what it's about. It does not come with the fans, so we have to put our own fans in it, which I got plenty of. So let's get started on this. Don't go anywhere. And what we got here, very light. Maybe 2 pounds. It's not very heavy. Let's get in this thing. So far, they did a pretty good job wrapping it. But let me get this out of this. All right, so I'm going to keep the reveal of this case and what it's going to look like to the end, or as it's getting built, you're going to look at it. It is on the front of this, but there is a company called CyberWood, and this is probably explaining, yeah, these are all the directions. So we have to take a look at this and see if we can follow along and get that done. We got all of our screws. Looks like we got standoffs for the motherboard. More standoffs. We got some screws of some sort for assembly. We got feet, what looks like feet. We got, looks like SSD and motherboard screws. I don't see any fan screws here. Then we got these blocks here. I don't know what those are for just yet, but they're just square blocks that are threaded in all 4 directions. So I'm assuming it's assembling this. I'll put those aside. It comes with our front I/O connectors. We have 2 USB 3.0s, one audio and one microphone. That's what's in here, along with what looks like some maybe double-sided tape or something. I don't know what that's about. And we have all of our wood pieces here. Looks like we have some filtration. You know, this is not a real expensive case, but these are kind of cheesy. Not real fond of those. Yeah, and we got all our pieces here. So let's see. I don't know what this says. We got another piece here. Oh, PCI device fastener is what it says on there. I don't know what that's about. We also have 2 more right here. This has got to be for graphics card or something like that to put in place so you can close up the back or something maybe, I'm assuming. We have what appears to be the front cover of it or the back. I don't know. We'll figure that out as we go. So I'm hoping, I don't know if these don't look labeled. Oh, these are, looks like for the graphics card. You have to knock these out. Now, I did hear about that. So if you do have a graphics card that is going to go in the normal way, you do have to knock these out and they will not go back in. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'm not putting a graphics card in. It's just for downstairs. Ooh, actually, we need the motherboard backing first. Okay. So we got this guy. And you can see it actually has labels all over it for all of your motherboard standoffs. You have USB audio where you're mounting everything, the 2.5-inch SSD, 3.5-inch if you wanted to mount that. Now, I'm not going to be mounting any of that kind of stuff because I just have the M.2 SSD right on the motherboard, and that's where it's going to stay. So our second piece, so it's going to be this one. You have to pay attention to some of the markings on it. So this one is showing bottom, which is right there. So we have to put our feet on it. Okay, so these are the feet. And it's got these like rivets. Plastic. These are plastic. And it's got these rivets. And these rivets, you put these through the, the bottom here. And these rivets go up through and they expand that top right there. So they go up through like there. Then we're going to put them, yep, just like that. You may have to, I say if they're even, they're just going to look like that, right? That's how they go in. And you can see right here how they spread. And you can see the center point where it came up. And it's just friction that's holding it in. All right, that's what it looks like with all the feet on it. And now you can see these slits right here. This is going to be our second step. So now we have our base. And our second step is going to be with these fan mounting places facing me. This is just according to my direction that I'm looking at it. So we get this all correct. This would be the top. It says the top. So it matches what the picture says. And you want all these, I believe you want all these indicators towards the inside. That way you can see when you're mounting the motherboard. I don't know, maybe you'd want them to the... Well, no, you can't. Really, can you? Oh, yeah, you can. Okay, so you don't want to see that. But it's funny because you can see them in here. So that's actually a little strange to me. Actually, no, but that's the way it goes, is it goes like this anyway. So we're going to put it in just like that. There's nothing else to do right there. Step 2 is basically we're going to assemble all the sides so it gets held together. So we're going to be taking... It looks like 3 more pieces. So we got the top and the 2 sides. These are the 2 sides. This would be the top. And I think what we'll do, so this is the back, and you can tell by the cutout here. And I can tell that this goes up here. You can also do it vertical mounted GPU if you have one, and it's already opened. I'm wondering if it was supposed to be open. Might have been. So we got this to basically, and we got these slits right here. They are going to go with the back slits. As you can see up front here, you have those. I don't know what they're called, so forgive me on that. I'm not a wood guy. So I know there's a specific thing that they call those. And right like that. All right, now we have part of the structure up. So that's kind of cool. Let's spin this around a little bit here. And let's see, how would this one go? Okay, it has to go this way. Or it could go this way. But let's just make sure that we got front and rear. We got the top. That makes sense. I keep forgetting that these are labeled. So right now they're pretty clearly labeled. I probably should try to put the bottom in first, huh? And then things should flow upwards. There we go. All right. Look how simple this is. Here's our top. It says top on it again. And this one, it says side. And this one says front. So that's the rear. So this would be the front. So, but those have the slits in it. So we're going to flip it over so we don't see that portion. Because I really wouldn't want to see all that writing on the outside of the case. So we're going to put this in. Line up our slits in the back. Slots, I don't know what they're called. All right, so now we understand a little bit more what's going on here. We need these blocks that I wasn't sure what exactly they were for, but they basically go in the corners, so you can put a screw here, it'll hold together. And the same goes for the back, the corner down low. Then I drop them. B, these are all labeled. So package B. And we also need, that's it actually, just these and this package. Get all the screws out here. And what we need for this is just a Phillips. We go right up here to the top corner. And we're going to start, whoop, see it's falling apart on me. So this is going to take some finesse. I almost think these should have gone on first. But maybe not. All right, so these just have to be snug. You don't have to over torque them. But we got to get this back on. So this may benefit you if you had somebody to help you, just to kind of keep it in place. But I'll get it eventually. Once I get a few of these on, it's not going to go anywhere. And hopefully this is going to line up. Yep. Put one back here. Oh, that one has to get screwed from the bottom. So that could be a challenge. But actually it won't be. So I'm going to slip it off the edge. Just enough here. And hopefully it won't fall apart on me. All right, so basically from here, what we're gonna do, I got this one in, another one in. I'm just gonna go ahead and put these in. We're gonna cut to the next spot, but basically you're just gonna put them in all the corners. And you're gonna put one in the center back here. It looks like nothing goes back here. Actually it could for the rear panel, so you probably put one back here as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that because this is gonna take me several minutes and I'm not going to sit here and bore you with me just screwing these together. Okay, so I just installed the last one. We have them, you know, going corner, middles, and all the sides. So you have all those done. The back is all done, as you can see, all the corners and the sides. So the case is, you know, relatively solid now. It's not going anywhere. And basically what those are also for, especially the ones here, is when you put the front panel on, you can screw the front panel on there. And a couple of things. I ran into one that was a little funny with how it was threaded, so I just turned it to another location because they're threaded on all four sides, but one of them happened to be a little boogered up. So I just turned it so it was on the inside. It doesn't use the insides or the sides of them. Excuse me. So that, with that said, these corner ones should be pretty straight when you go to put the panel on, but these ones that are in the center, you kind of have to eyeball it and see, get it to where it's straight. All right, so our next step is putting the motherboard pieces in, which is going to require D. These are the standoffs, and then we need C, which are C/SSD. So those are the screws that we are going to use. If we turn this around, so you can see, if I don't lose all my screws, probably just do this easier. You can see here, it says MB, that stands for motherboard. So in those two slots, you can put one. Down here it says motherboard. Right here it says motherboard. Right here it says motherboard. And these two say motherboard. So right there is where we're going to put the standoffs. We're going to take a standoff, take one of the screws, and you just pop it through one of the holes on the back, and that's where you're going to put a screw and a standoff. Standoff obviously goes on this side, and just get it snug. So there's our first one in there. You can see it right there. And you just have to look in the back. Wherever you put the screw through, come around to the front, and you can see exactly where it needs to go. So there's no guessing on this side. These do need to be snug, but don't over torque it. But you don't want it to spin on you when you go to put the screws in for when you mount the motherboard. All right, so there we go. There's all the standoffs in. We are left with 3 extra standoffs. You can put those somewhere where you choose. So I'm going to fix this right now. I actually put that this standoff right here in the wrong spot. It's supposed to be one position lower. I believe for the motherboard that I have. So we're just going to put it one slot lower. All right, so now it's time for the front I/O to install that and get this ready and prepped. Yeah, it comes with like this tape. I don't know what this is used for just yet, but we have these that we have to mount, and our switches, but we're going to, this is going to get mounted in the front. So we have this spot right here. And let's see if I can figure this out. So right here, you can see that it says USB audio. So you have 2 holes here, and you have a couple of holes right here on the little circuit board for this. So circuit board goes towards this, I believe, just like that. And then there's you need a couple standoffs actually. So we need these standoffs. Need a couple more screws. And we're going to get these installed. So the screw goes through the case, through the back here. And then you can put your standoff in. So you're not left with 3 extra standoffs so far. Looks like you're going to be using just about everything that it comes with. So we're going to put it there. Grab another standoff. Because the standoff is threaded on both sides. So that's what's going to allow us now to grab 2 more screws. Trying to do this so you can see it. This is going to go just like this and right like that. So now those should line up, but I can't hold the screws in that at the same time. So I'm going to have to turn you for a second. Get this started. I'll leave that one just a little loose. You can kind of see it in there now. Maybe I could have come from this side. Would have been easier for you to see what I'm doing. There we go. Just snug them. These do not have to be extremely tight. No point in it. You break the circuit board anyway. So now these are ready to, route through here or wherever you want to put them. So right there, we're going to leave them like that for right now. Next step, I believe we put these switches in. These are semi-self-explainable. We got 2 of them. Okay. One's power, which would be this one right here. This one's going to be a reset switch. Just a momentary. And on the back here, you can see that they're labeled. One's reset, one's power. And also the size of these are different. So you can't get these ones wrong. So let's go ahead and put the reset one in first. There's a jam nut on here that you're going to take off completely. So we're going to take this off. We're going to feed the wires through, like so. This one doesn't have any orientation or anything specific on the outside. So then you can put the jam nut back on, or retainer nut, whatever you want to call it. Don't pull on the wires too much. And get this nut started. Now you could, for this one, I suppose you could take an adjustable plier or the correct size wrench, or even a pair of pliers and get this a little tighter. I may do that in a little bit. Again, we got another jam nut, retainer nut. Take it off. Feed this one through. Now, on this does have sort of an orientation of however you want it. And, you know what? I don't know the way the power buttons usually look. So we're going to go face up. And that's the way I had it. That's the way I thought it was going to be. So we're not going to rotate it at all. And then we're going to feed this back on. Got to keep it straight. Keep it straight. That's pretty good. Okay. So these wires, just for now, I'm just going to put them in here just so they're out of my way. That's it. So now you can see the front and what that looks like. You got a couple USB ports and your power, reset, and audio and microphone jack. And that's not going anywhere. Now you can see it does come, like the bottom one is for audio, the top one is for microphone. You can see the green and the pink, but you really have to look at it closely. So it would have been nice if they gave you some stickers maybe to put around those, right on the wood or something, or they wrote on the outside. That probably, would have been a little bit better of a touch for that if you can't see them that clearly. Now, the next step after that, there is some mesh. Oh, no, we have the power cable. I forgot about this. So this is the internal thing for the power. So, let's see here. I believe it goes in the top, right? Trying to figure out how this actually works. I don't even know why you would need this. Oh, okay. So okay, I get what this is for now, because the power supply unit actually sits right on the other side of this block. So it sits in this area. So this is the this is where the fan's going to be, is on this side, and it's going to, the airflow is going to go out. No, the air is going to be drawn in, and probably go down or out the back or something like that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This is because the power supply is not going to be in there, so you have to have this little 90-degree adapter when the power supply is up here like this, and you can plug it in. This just gets mounted Well, that's interesting. How does that work? Oh, do I have that backwards? Okay. Directions always help sometimes. I was a little confused, but now I see where it goes. It actually goes back here. So this part gets mounted back here just like this. Okay, so you can plug your cable in. But it actually gets fed through, I believe. Yep. And so the screws are on the inside. Now, which way you want this, I don't think really matters. If you want it like that. And then we're going to take, I believe, some different screws here. What screws do we need? Ah, it's G, it's not F. Looking at the wrong one. Okay, these screws actually go through the front. Oop, falling off the back here. These ones should be snug, again. Don't over tighten them because it is cheap wood. So now you have your extension for the power cord. That's going to go through this hole. Okay, so this case, to mount your power supply, you got 4 holes up here. And your power supply unit is going to kind of hang in here, which is kind of interesting. And what you need is this kit comes with 4 of these long extension standoffs. So the threaded portion is going to go towards the top of the hole. You got to thread these into your power supply. Okay, you got to thread them in. And then what you would do is you take these other screws that are clearly in the instructions and put these down through the hole, and then lift your power supply unit up and thread these in. Now, that will all get demonstrated when I put the parts together here. But for right now, I'm not going to put those in because it doesn't make any sense for me to put them in and then take them back off to put them in the power supply first, because those standoffs have to go in the power supply first. You can't thread those afterwards. So, the next steps is basically, you do have the mesh, which I wasn't a fan of. Let's see here. You have these mesh pieces that somehow go in here. Not quite certain how they do. Dust filters.
Interesting.
They give you 3 of these dust filters. Cheap, but they are dust filters. How do you install them? There's no way to install these. They say they got one for the bottom too, but they go from the bottom. This is very strange. So what am I supposed to use? Glue? Am I supposed to use the instructions? Here, I'll show you. Right here, step 9. Tell me, how do those get installed? Yep. No screws, no fasteners, no anything. These back here, I figured out what these are for. That's if you get a graphics card back here, you can kind of plug off this hole and lock everything in if you wanted to, but we're not doing that. So I'll probably, I don't know, put on this plastic one or something, or the wood one. These are just spare parts, so basically I just mount it here, and that's what it would look like. It's nothing crazy. This piece is for the front. It actually says CyberWood on it, and what I would do is put it in like this, just like that. If it would go in, I guess it's gonna be temperamental. Yeah, well, that's to be expected when you don't have a perfect cut. So it's supposed to kind of go in like that. And there we go. That looks like that. Doesn't look too bad. And then basically the plexiglass, or not plexiglass, this is, well, yeah, plexiglass. But this is plastic, so this would just go on the front of it. Now, if you had some RGB or something in there, it would be really diffused. But that's what that's going to look like. And of course, when we go to build it and we're all complete with our cable management, this is going to go on the back. And so it's going to look, you know, just like that. Now, speaking of cable management, there is none. You got no fasteners, nothing. So everything's going to be loose in here. You can zip tie stuff together, but there's nowhere to actually fasten anything. Now, as I wrap this video up, because there's not much more to talk about or do to this, the positive is it's very light. It's pretty dang small. If you wanted something like that, if you wanted a project to put this together, I think it was kind of a fun little thing to figure out what this one's all about. Some of the negatives, and there are probably more negatives. It's wood. Hopefully you don't have any termites. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a computer and no. That'd be kind of funny. But there's no cable management. In other words, like you can't tie anything down. So they could have included some little hooks with the screws and you kind of like just put hooks in. And probably the biggest thing is this, how flimsy this is. They could have made that a little bit thicker and it would have been a little stronger, just like these. They should have made it just as thick as these. That's just a, you know, preference, personal opinion on that. But other than that don't look too bad. I think this will work pretty nice. I was considering doing the Silverstone, like I said. It's I got it down there on the floor, the PS15, and I may review the case. I may not. I don't know. I'm going to be sending that case back because I was trying to figure out if I wanted this one or the other one. But I said I feel like doing a little project and seeing what this is about. Now the other case would have been just slap it in, good to go. But this was kind of fun. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this little adventure of mine. You know, a couple little struggles, but nothing real major. Again, feel free to leave a comment down below if you wish, and let me know what you think about this case and the build quality. I know you can't touch it and feel it, but what would you have done with these filters? Where would you put them? How would you install them? Because again, there's no physical way to install these that they give you. The instructions don't say anything. They just say that's where they go, but there's nowhere to put them. So that's a big F for me. You know, you get all the way practically built, and then they don't have anywhere for those really to go or fasten. So they could have had, honestly, they could have had screw holes up here. Little screw holes on the outside. So if you had a hole here, this is for the fan screw. They could have had a hole right there on the outsides of those screw holes that have one of those fasteners that you turn. That's all they had to have, is just a fastener that you turn and kind of holds it up into place. That probably would have been what I would have done. Again, maybe I'm missing something of how these get installed, but they just show a picture and they're just like, oh, just put it here. Okay. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing. I do a lot of different things, I believe, and hopefully you enjoy them. Other than that, give this thing a thumbs up and share the video too. And I guess that's it. Until next time, guys, take care.